Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to tell you how to get into Dungeons & Dragons if you're new. Alright, so Ginny D did a fantastic video recently saying the 7 things that you should do when you start playing Dungeons & Dragons. And she started with the most important thing, is how to find a group, right? And I really love Ginny D's material. She has such a unique voice in the space, and I'm really excited about her because she is really wonderfully successful. I love how she has paired her uniqueness with commercial success, and I think she's doing really well over there. She'll say things like, in one of her videos, she was like, somebody said, hey, can you hold off at the end and so I can click on that link? And she's like, no, I'm not gonna, because I care about retention, right? Like, she like business minded, right? Like, she's like, does like a goofy skit, and then like, here's some metric, like, that you would hear from a from a high-end boardroom, like she is really doing great. I love her content. So one thing she admitted, which I thought was fantastic, she's like, hey, I know you're starting Dungeons & Dragons. I know you want to know how to do this and how to get a group, right? And she goes, I can't tell you how to get a group, right? And then she like, just this weird, not even a weird flex, but she just like humble bragged. She was like, I ain't got no problems, finding a table or people coming to play with me, right? Like, she's like, I can't help you if you're having a hard time finding people to play Dungeons & Dragons with, because I got 1,000 people in line ready to play Dungeons & Dragons with me on both sides, right? I could get 1,000 people to play, and I could line up 1,000 Dungeon Masters, and she's right, right? Like, she owning her awesome, right? And I love that. I love her content. It is so good, right? And I love, like, and people have said it. They're like, Scott, you are arrogant, right? 100%. I am arrogant. No two ways about it. Here's a little tip for you. There are no humble people on YouTube. It don't matter. It doesn't exist. If you are humble, then you don't think that you are super awesome and everybody in the world should listen to you, right? So a whole bunch of humble people exist, but they ain't on YouTube, right? There's only one person who proves me wrong on that, and that's Ben over at Questing Beast. But hey, ain't all of us can be Ben, really? So, yeah. So that guy, he's the best of us. He is the best of us. I'm gonna continue saying that. He's really fantastic. If you're not watching Questing Beast, get over there. I'm sure everybody here is watching Questing Beast. All right. So here's the thing. So she says, I can't help you. And then she gives advice, and this advice is just horrific. It's so terrible, right? So she says, oh, finding a D&D group is like dating. And I'm like, what? Right? She's like, you gotta, go out there, do the best you can to find somebody. It's gonna end. Oh, guess what? It's probably gonna fail, and then you're gonna have to try again. Oh, my, sorry. Right? And I'm like, do you understand what you're saying? Right? And I don't think she does, right? Like, just so y'all are aware, I just gotta give you this heads up. Modern dating is an epic freaking nightmare. Like, I don't do it, but I, because I do Dungeons & Dragons, I know a lot of young people, and I will tell you right now, it is a horrible hellscape, right? It is just horrific to date today, right? Like, I was so lucky. In 1991, I'm like, hey, there's a beautiful girl. I was like, hey, you want to go out with me? Same deal in 2022. Hey, there's a beautiful girl. I don't know if she really likes guys. I also don't know if she likes singular relationships, because I don't want to be in a relationship with 7 people. And so I don't know if she's into polyamory, and I don't know if she's into dudes. I'll just shut this down and not do anything. And there's a ton of people doing that right now. They're like, and also, oh, and if I get it wrong and I ask in the wrong way, that might be a crime, right? Like, it is, or hate speech, or like. It is a nightmare. Modern dating is an absolute nightmare. So Ginny D is like saying, you know how you're trying to find love and you keep failing? Dungeons & Dragons is like that, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you cannot say that to people. You cannot say that to people. You cannot say that to people. So I'm going to fix it, right? I'm going to tell you exactly how to start Dungeons & Dragons, okay? All right, now, first of all, I'm just like Ginny D. I do not have a problem finding people for my table. I actually have a problem where we're getting to the point where we don't have any more seats left, right? And there's a question of who should be there, right? And so, on the flip side of that, and also, I could definitely go find dungeon masters. I know multiple dungeon masters. I'm going to say, hey, can I come into this game, right? So this is me saying, looking at the same problem Ginny D is and giving a real answer. So here is the real answer. Do not attach a new dating nightmare to your life, right? And she's right. She's right. If you use that path, man, you are going to have a heck of a time finding a Dungeons & Dragons group. So how do you find a Dungeons & Dragons group to play? If you're brand new and you're starting Dungeons & Dragons, do not try to go and find a Dungeons & Dragons group. The best ones will reject you and will never even take you in, and the worst ones will take you in, and you do not want to start there, okay? So how do you do it? You buy the Essentials kit, and you find 2 players, and you begin dungeon mastering immediately. The proper way to start playing D&D today is not to play, but to dungeon master with the Essentials kit. The Essentials kit is amazing. If you run it for 2 friends, you are very likely to have a successful experience, right? And then with those 2 people, you can buy the PHB, the DMG, and the Monster Manual, and you can run for about a year. And when you've done that for a year, take your game, go to your FLGS, sit down and start playing, and people will ask you what you're doing. And the moment they ask you what you're doing, you can say, do you run a game? Do you want to come into this game? That's the right way. Do not go looking for a Dungeons & Dragons group. The probability that you will find a good one is low. The good ones will keep you out, and the reason why is they're full, right? And the bad ones will bring you in, and then you'll stop playing Dungeons & Dragons. Get the Essentials kit, run it yourself, graduate to the PHB DMG Monster Manual 5e. Don't mess with any of those old crusty versions, right? And then at that point, take your show on the road and just run for a week or a month at your FLGS, and you will attract like moths to a flame. Right? It'll work fine. And I think that's a much better way to go than what Ginny D said. She was like, that horrible thing that thousands of articles are written about every day, and like the actual just apocalyptic hex state of dating, double that in your life to start a hobby. Terrible advice. My advice is good. Follow it. Well, that's my opinion. How do you think somebody should start? Do you think Ginny's right, or do you think I'm right, or do you got a third path? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.